So I am Mandi Hutchinson. I am I guess the technical term now would be content creator. So that would be my main role in the industry. Well, it's different for me, I think, than some because I only do this part-time. So I have a full-time job, I'm a teacher, and then doing this is having another full-time job.
Managing both at the same time, that's a lot.
It's a lot. So sometimes I feel like I'm really excited to do all of these things, but I feasibly can't because of my other job. So it's exciting and fun that I can contribute to the community, but I can't do all the things that I would love to do. I would say so. Like when I was teaching, I used to do gamification in the classroom. So if it was a topic, especially ones that were not fun, math was not a subject for me that I enjoyed learning, but it's important. So I'd find ways to get games in the classroom that way. And then it kind of bled into now my content creation being a teacher. When I'm teaching games or even just doing a video where I'm talking about games and explaining it, I do find that element comes into play. So both have helped in different ways. Yeah, for sure. So some of the things that people want to look for when they're just getting into the industry are trying to have a point of view. You can just jump in and say, hey, I'm going to do this, but then you're going to get to the point of like, why am I doing this? What am I trying to contribute to the community that maybe hasn't been done? So like when I first started, I didn't see a lot. There were some, but a lot of people that looked like me or maybe had the same way of speaking about games. So I decided, hey, I'm going to try and introduce that my way. So that's something to look for. So having a point of view, how are you going to do it that works for you? Because sometimes people change themselves to do it. I'm like, no, it still needs to be you because people will resonate with that. Doing the work. It's not easy. There are a lot of people that get burned out doing this because they take on too much. And sometimes you just have to take it slow, take on what works for you, and then get in that research. But the time that you're spending on it needs to work mentally to keep yourself mentally well and what works best for your schedule. Yeah, so getting started working with the publishers is tricky, especially if you don't know, right? Like maybe you just played games and you're like, but I don't know any of these people. I would just take games that were on my shelf and we would just play them or do a review or some kind of video about it and tag those people in the video. And then sometimes they would say, oh, thanks so much for playing, or we really saw your video, we really enjoyed that, and tried to form relationships with the publishers that way. Harder online, so then that's up to you to kind of follow up and at conventions and things like that, have those conversations. Sometimes it was just a quick email. And it wasn't asking for anything. I think that's where people kind of jump into, okay, I want free games. You got to work with what you have first, get those relationships, and then maybe you could look into, receiving games for review or for coverage. Oh, so when I go to publisher booths at conventions, I'm a bit different because I've been doing this for a long time, so I know a lot of them. So a lot of the time it's not necessarily work. And I know when I put that in quotes, work, because it is, but it isn't. Remember how we talked about forging relationships? That's really important. Sometimes I'll just go to a booth, just have a chat. Hey, how's it going? How are things? Because you want to create actual bonds. It's not just about getting games. Sometimes, yeah, sure, it's a business chat. How are we going to cover a certain type of game? Great, here you go. Here's a review copy of games. I think for me, it's a little different in the fact that I've been doing this for so long. But when you're maybe just starting out, just having the conversation, nice to meet you, this is me, this is you, and getting to know them is really important before you start with the, hey, can I have some free games? So conversations, really important. Well, and I'm friends with and when I say friends, we all have, casual friends. I actually have good friends that I hang out with outside of conventions that are publishers or designers and things like that. And I would like to maintain those friendships and not just make it about games. So that is another aspect for me what might be slightly different than for others. Okay, so conventions that are really good for content creators that are new to the industry. A lot of people are going to want to go to the big ones. So Gen Con, which is the one where a lot of new games are coming out. If you're not in North America or can afford to go out, Essen Spiele would be another one that you might want to check out, but cost, obviously, if you're not in Europe, but if you can do it, those are some big ones. Some of the other ones that are big, but I don't necessarily know if they're the best ones for new and upcoming games, but maybe just getting to know the community and getting to know more about games is like a PAX Unplugged.
Oh,
I like that convention, but if you're looking for new games or new content, that might not be the best one, but it's nice even just to have conversations. You're not running around all the time, so the tone is different. But your Gen Cons, your Essen, Spiel, those are good. I even think going to your local game conventions, if you have them, are really good to go to, just to get your feet wet a little bit. Yeah, I knew this question was coming. So platforms that are definitely growing more for content creators should look at, or you definitely see a lot of them getting into. I am not on the TikTok. Yes, I'm old, so I say the TikTok.
okay, me too.
Yeah, right. I have to. But I feel like that's one that's growing exponentially for a lot of content creators. For me, it's a time factor, but if you have the creativity or the time to do it, I think TikTok is generally a way that it's going. I mean, you have your Twitch and your YouTube, which are like your staples, and I don't know if that necessarily falls into social media or just your medium for getting your content out there. Yeah, I would have to say, I'm trying to think. I know TikTok's blowing up right now. So that's probably the main one that I'd say. I'm old, so I'm 100% sure I'm missing some other ones, but that's like the new thing right now. And then continuing with your YouTube, your Twitch, and that sort of thing. Have a point of view. Okay, it doesn't have to be earth-shattering. Have a point of view. Have a set of like ethics, moral standards that you're going to stick beside, and stick to those. Because I find sometimes people get like glamorized or lost in the industry, and it's like, well, wait a second, I am so far over here. That is not what I set out to do. And that path can be difficult because it does sometimes require maybe going against what everyone else is saying. But it's, you still need to maintain what's true to you, stick to that. It's a hard path, but the rewards at the end, even if it's just for you or the people that listen to you, they appreciate it.